What's up, weirdos? Millions of people are fighting over this woman. Her name is Paige, but her TikTok username is She Is a Paige Turner. One of the best usernames I've ever heard, but she posted a video that kind of blew up on the internet, and it created a shockwave of discourse surrounding it that was very interesting to watch like unfold in real time. She was talking about like the division of labor in her household and basically how she was like at her wit's end with her husband because he wasn't pulling his weight with some of the chores around the house. And we'll watch the video together and walk through the whole thing, but the reactions to what she said in this video were so much. Before we get into all that though, I want to show you like the context so that we're all on the same page. This is the video that she posted that got her so much hate.
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school.
That intro right there, like a pretty good example of the type of content that she makes. She makes a lot of like relationship and mom, husband, wife, content like that, like talking about that, giving tips and tricks, advice, being real, and really important key information to hold on to throughout like the rest of this as we see what people's reactions are. The story that she's talking about is 16 years into a marriage with 4 kids and they're both working full time. So knowing that this is going to go into a place where she's addressing traditional gender roles and like how the man should also be contributing to chores, doesn't really feel like people would react to this negatively, but we'll see that they do. Let's let her keep going though.
Like on paper, what else could I ask for? But in reality, my experience is very similar to the experience of other women. I had this amazing husband who on paper was great, but I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Because what happens to so many of us is that we marry these amazing men and we have amazing relationships and then we have kids. And when we have kids, women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load.
Now that you've seen the tone of her video, now that you see what she's talking about, I want to show you what the reaction to this was. We got a Pepe profile picture bro over here going, Google her handle, she's very easy to find. Her work from home job is simply being an influencer. He also says she's a former adult online entertainer. She also has a full-time housekeeper, a full-time landscaper, a pool boy, and a live-in nanny. Meanwhile, her husband is a lineman working 60 hours a week. She's a grifter, plain and simple. This shit got 21,000 likes, 2,000 reposts. This was the first thing that popped up on my feed about this whole thing, and I didn't see the video, so I was like, oh, is she like, I don't know, like some like trad wife, right-wing grifter type person? This person said, translation for the sane and functional. A woman's love language is you developing psychic powers. But there's a lot more to the video, so we're gonna keep watching. But already, from the tone that she has set, it doesn't make sense how there could be such a hateful reaction to what she said. But there is a lot of the video left, so maybe she is gonna say some crazy stuff.
About 3 months after my 4th baby was born, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. I need you to do more. I am exhausted. I am in charge of everyone and everything in this house. Every night when we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day when you drop off the kids at daycare, you ask me what they need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more. And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do. Right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I said, okay, you know, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out.
And that's the part of the video that so many people had a huge problem with. She said, I gave birth 3 months ago, and I take care of the kids all day. I just gave birth 3 months ago. Very calmly, very kindly, could you just like empty the dishwasher and put them away and then take the trash out? And people online saw that and just decided to go hog wild. The whole time she talked about her needs and wants and not her husband's, ... She just gave birth 3 months ago. How are you not on her side? By the way, it's not even like a who's in the right. They're both married. Like it ended up working out. You don't think it's crazy that this woman just gave birth 3 months ago and is working from home full time and also expected to take care of 4 kids? And she's wrong for asking her husband to take the trash out and empty the dishwasher. If you can't do that, I'm sorry. Like you're not built to be a good husband. I mean, you can be a husband technically, but you would be a bad husband if that is how you act. When ADHD is kicking my ass and I'm like fucking up on the chores, you know what Sophia does? She says, get your shit together, young man. And I say, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. But these people who've never been in a relationship says, like, look at this. She doesn't give him any grace. She exalts herself and keeps a record of wrongs. I don't know what that is, but it's definitely not love. If he were actually efficient, headstrong, diligent, organized, paid all the bills to the point where she didn't have to work, and did the same thing to her, posting an online video about her flaws, no doubt she would literally feel betrayed and have a mental breakdown. She's frustrated with his inability to lead. Truth is, doesn't matter how many hoops he jumps through for her approval, she was never supposed to be in the leadership position anyway. She's in that position because instead of taking charge, he let her get her way, and now she resents him because of it. I thank God I don't live in this reality, and I don't wish it on any other married man out there. Yeah, the problem here is that the husband let the woman have an opinion. What are you talking about? In an actual real world, if you actually want to have a successful relationship, if you're thinking like this, you are, I mean, I can't imagine you're beyond 16 years old and just like sucking up Andrew Tate's, I don't want to say the C-U-M word, but what's Brock Riddick got to say about this? I hope he ran, ... I would. But her video keeps going, so maybe she actually does say something really crazy that is justifying these people taking that side when she's just asking her husband to empty the dishes.
So much easier, because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. And so, of course, he does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets, and then I have to remind him again. And there was this one morning where I woke up, and I went to put something in the trash, and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle, and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me. Because what he's done has now made me late for work.
So where's she wrong? Where's she wrong? By the way, Sophia has definitely been like, hey, could you take the trash out? And then I've been like, yeah. And then I forgot it, and then she's reminded me. The knife of ice in my heart when she has to remind me. I'm sitting there like, I'm not even an adult. I can't even fucking take what? And everybody's been in that situation before, but at no point during that do you feel like you are in the right for letting somebody down on a promise that you made for them. Because it definitely is like disrespectful. Because it's disrespecting her time. And okay, look at what people said about that part of the video. That SSRI combo giveaway, always the thing with their hand plus the eyes, every single time. That's not weird to you to see somebody just, making a TikTok about domestic chore divisions and relationship advice, and you go, you look like you're on antidepressants and that makes you suck. If you talk like this and have your eyes open, that means you're on antidepressants, which means you're a loser. No, idiot. That means you're Italian. Or this guy said, I know Candace was a porn star, but Paige Turner was too. That's another thing that is so odd about this situation is that, like, I had read one previously where someone had said she's an adult entertainer. And if she was, that's fine. But to the best of my searching online, she wasn't. The person who tweeted this is a different person who was. And I found out, like, trying to figure out for this video that there are adult entertainers named Paige Turner, but they're not her. I just find it scary how quickly misinformation can spread online. Just one line in a tweet, and then that gets parroted by a bunch of other people, and then everybody's like, yo, I saw that she was a... It's not great. But here's an excerpt from an article that was written. By the way, Connell is actually her last name, and this article says, Connell works from home, so in the mornings and after the workday, she's back on childcare duty. Her husband's work as a utility lineman means he can't work from home, and he's often called for storm duty. And while both Connell and her spouse make 6 figures, she said childcare is probably the thing that costs us the most. And so many of the responses are based off of this, where it's like the idea of the husband's a blue-collar worker and he works really hard and he makes a lot of money and he gets really tired. And I'm sure he does, and he deserves a massage. He deserves to be loved and treated nicely. In addition to that, it's okay if bro takes out the trash and empties the dishwasher for his 3-month postpartum wife. By the way, this isn't even some situation where he's out here online being like, well, actually. It's like, no, he realized he was in the wrong and then they corrected it and then they didn't get divorced. That's what the story is. So the response of hate that she's gotten, it's just so crazy. Let's let her keep going. Because the more she talks, the more sense she makes, and the more crazy it seems that these people were saying all these things about her.
What he's done has now made me late for work. And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the impact on me. And he doesn't see how every single thing in our home happens because I asked him to do it, or because I do it myself, or because I planned and organized it. The diaper bag is full because I filled it, right? I put the wipes in there. And I felt so frustrated. And I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone. And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me. And it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic, it doesn't happen by accident.
This is such a common thing in relationships. When you are living with somebody, there is gonna be tension, there's gonna be friction, and you have to figure out like how you divide responsibilities. This is true for any relationship. She's just describing how her relationship got to a point where stuff was getting a little bit out of hand for her. Too much is resting on her shoulders. She asked for help, and then millions of people online sitting there going, wow, you needed help? You're actually kind of a really bad mom. You couldn't do everything, but he's climbing up lines, telephone poles, and bolting things. By the way, I know my hair is different. I love it so much. I wanna keep this hair forever. Anyways, watching a video like this and then getting mad at it doesn't make any sense, because it's like those people genuinely do believe that traditional values and like traditional gender roles are the way to live. The only way to live is if boy go out, work, make money, girl take care of everything else, make boy They have no issue, no friction. He can be however he wants, long as he make money. They both work full-time jobs and they're both pulling in 6 figures. If I was working like climbing telephone poles for 100 grand and then my wife was also pulling in 100 grand, I would say, hey, baby, you mind if instead of childcare, I'm just a stay-at-home dad and you have like your work from home office and I just like watch the kids? But the people who get mad at this because they're, you know, really like addicted to that traditional gender role like dynamic, it's like they don't understand that dynamic kind of was crushed and collapsed once women were given rights. You know, once the gentleman looked around and he said, I mean, all right, we'll let y'all vote on something, I guess. Like that kind of started a chain reaction of women being like, hey, you know what? We do deserve to be equals and we can also get paid and, you know, have jobs and contribute to society in, you know, the exact same way as y'all. And to see that and go, actually, that's wrong and it shouldn't be like that. I don't know how these people were raised. I don't know what kind of relationship they have with their mother, what like women in their lives they had that were influencing them, because it just truly feels like an alien way of thinking of like, because I'm boy and I've seen boys work at construction sites more than men, my wife should take care of everything, even if she's working a full-time job and she's 3 months postpartum. I should be able to go out and hit a hammer and then make $100,000 and then she can, you know, work the same exact amount of me, but also everything else is put on her. And that's like an actual like supported worldview. There's like communities of people who agree with that. And it doesn't really like make sense because I don't know how they're living in the real world. Let's let her keep talking though, because she's actually like telling a really interesting story with like actually good relationship advice. And the more she talks, the more of a contrast it puts onto these freaks who had a problem with it.
But we've been raised in a society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages and what it looks like to be a good mom versus a good dad. And we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here. And we fell into these norms. We fell into these roles in our family despite the fact that we never wanted to. And I'm lucky, and I say lucky because I have a partner who I know loves me and wants me to be happy and was willing and able to change. And so we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck her. Yeah, she sucks. Oh, you honestly and openly communicated with your husband who you love and who loves you, and you came to an understanding to find equity in your relationship in a way that makes you both feel empowered, respected, and loved? God, this girl fucking sucks. Anybody else think that, huh? Hey, I should tweet out a bunch of lies about her and then say stuff like, she's an ableist, just because I can. That's true, by the way. Look at what FaZe Blaze had to say. Wow, FaZe up, FaZe Blaze, FaZe up. I know he was gritty and all over his room when he found out that Blaze was still open for FaZe. He must have been like, wow, it rhymes. He said, finally went to the original vid to see if people agreed and saw this comment saying her husband is also neurodivergent. I feel so bad for bro. And he's talking about Rachel Cherry Train. She said, can this change if your partner is neurodivergent? I'm suffering with Cassandra syndrome over here. She said, my husband is neurodivergent and we've been able to come up with systems that make this work. Why would we feel bad for bro? He has a wife who is very forgiving. By the way, look at what she says right here.
And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there.
Took 18 months for bro to figure out how to take out the trash after his wife, who was three months postpartum, was like, please, I'm really begging you. 18 months to get there. That's putting work into the relationship. That's like actually like really caring about each other. How are you gonna see that and then go, fuck her? She literally treats him like shit. She gave his ass 18 months to do 2 things. And you know what? If he wanted to have somebody who would take care of all the household chores and literally stay at home, take care of the kids, take care of the household, not work, he actually does all the work and he brings home all the money, then he could have married somebody else. Like, I don't know why we're mad at her for a decision that he made for him to marry her, because he loves her. They love each other. Like, they share true love's kiss, and what? Because you're seeing a woman online asking her husband to do 2 simple chores when she's 3 months postpartum and you're getting pissed? Doesn't make sense. It's very incel vibes, and the reaction that those types of people have when they see somebody saying stuff like this is like, that's so pick me, bruh's a pick me, bruh's a pick me. No, dead ass, if you want somebody who's gonna have like a traditional like gender roles with you, find somebody who wants that. But I think that a lot of these guys out here don't want somebody who wants that. They want somebody who is independent so that they can mold them into what they want, so that they feel like they've done so. Like, I feel like there is some sort of desire to break down like the strong-willed women into the role of like a servant that I think does go into some of the mindset of these dudes, because it's just counterintuitive to anything of like a healthy relationship with somebody who actually, you know, has like work ambitions and things. There are people whose ambitions are like household, raising kids. There are people who are like that, and you can find them, but I have a feeling if you did find them, you wouldn't be online rage tweeting about a woman in a happy marriage with her neurodivergent husband who just has to do 2 things every morning. Oh my God. Let's let her keep talking.
In most homes, the data supports this. Women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon, right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least.
By the way, how can you disagree with, like, honestly, how can you disagree with this? Especially if you're one of these dudes who's like really pushing for like that trad wife lifestyle and like, oh, you can't believe you're asking him to do this. That's coming from a place of the expectation of women doing more of like the household chores. And by the way, that's just like in experience of like life, that is what I see. And it truly is not fair. And like, okay, so for instance, for like a personal anecdote about this, like Sophia and I have definitely had to talk about this stuff because naturally she's a much more put together and cleaner person and less messy than I am. Can you believe it? And like my way of lifestyle where I'm like, there's some clutter around does not float for her. So we have had conversations about that and it's been an ongoing thing. But at no point am I thinking, well, because I make YouTube videos, you should do everything. If Sophia came to me and was like, I only want to do household chores, I don't want to work, I don't want to do anything other than take care of this house, first of all, I would say that doesn't sound like you. Who's under your skin right now? But like, sure, a relationship like that can function and can be fine. But Sophia, she's got her own like full-time thing that she's doing. Her hobbies, she should have just as much time to pursue as I do. And because we're both in a situation where like we don't go into an office to work, we've had conversations in our relationship where it's like early on in the conversation, she was like, I'll do our laundry. I'm sitting there going, that's allowed, you can do my laundry. But then after a little bit, I'm like sitting there watching her do laundry and it's like, it takes a long time and I'm like, this feels so wrong. And it's just like not fair. So now we take our laundry to like a laundromat where they like wash it and fold it. But it's like, yeah, it costs a little bit more money. But it's just like, if we both want to commit a significant amount of time to like our passions and our work, and then we want to spend more of our free time together, it's like not fair if her work time is also spent doing our household chores. So when I watch this video, it just makes sense. And it just feels like healthy communication in a relationship and her sharing like actual real life relationship advice. But still, every reply on that video is people like Greg Scott here saying, Paige is so overwhelmed with all her domestic labor, burned out by her kids, works a million hours, yet has time to produce daily videos, run around for media interviews, write guides on mental load, be an abortion activist, go to conferences, book one-on-one consultations. Yeah, that's her 6-figure full-time job. Yeah. Are you confused about how that's a 6-figure full-time job? Or are you confused that it's a woman who has a 6-figure full-time job? She's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. I'm pretty sure instead of asking her husband to take the trash out and empty the dishwasher in the morning, she should quit all of that because her work is actually meaningless because she's a woman. Oh, you do consultations. Oh, you do media interviews. You produce daily videos. Making hundreds of thousands of dollars for your family. Pretty sure that time would be better spent doing 2 chores that your husband could easily do in the morning. Or Frank Vaughn, I'd never think of making a video about my wife and putting it online, and she would never do it to me. I'd probably view it as a betrayal of the sanctity of our marriage. What is this dunking on your spouse online nonsense? This is disturbing to me. I don't think that she has to ask for his permission to post online, but I'm sure if he did have an issue with it, they probably would have talked about it, seeing as the entire video was about clear, open communication in the relationship and in a trust and equity between them. Or this guy right here, AussieKing.eth. Wow, Bored Ape NFT profile picture in the modern era. .ethereum in your username? Okay, bro. He said, hi, husband here. I do all my duties and then some. Cook every night, clean daily, do all morning duties, ... Guess what? There's always something more than the hubby just doesn't do. Ladies, ... Stop blaming your husbands. Start realizing the issue is perhaps the fact we're never enough. Don't believe me? Go out there and find another one, ... And we'll watch you complaining about him in a couple of years. Hey, I think your wife should divorce you. I think that this tweet right here is grounds for divorce. The Bored Ape NFT profile picture alone is probably grounds enough for divorce. But he is a husband, so I'm assuming he has a wife. Could be gay, could have a husband, could have a gay husband, but I don't think so. Ladies, ... Stop blaming your husbands. Listen, if your wife is complaining to you about something and you're like, she's nagging me, she won't stop nagging me, communicate to her that the communication pattern that you guys have developed is not necessarily like healthy and making it like feel productive for the both of you. And if you are being like an honest and good person and you're actually telling the truth, then if she's a good person, she will respect you and you'll have an honest conversation about that. But if you can't have that in your relationship, why are you married? Like if you can't say to your wife, hey, I love you so much and I really want to do everything for you, but the way that you're communicating it to me is making it like not helpful. And if we could figure out a way, like talking to your wife, I don't know, respecting like the fact that you can say what you feel and that she'll like understand it instead of going online with your .ethereum username complaining about your wife to other people. I mean, is pretty embarrassing. What's this guy got on his profile? Ex-professional athlete, trader. Wait, he's got a YouTube channel? Sorry, I gotta click on this. Oh, so, okay, these are the types of videos he posts. Okay. You know, this site, plus the fact that he has ex-professional athlete in his profile, I'm thinking we might be seeing some of the long-term effects of CTE. Love the AI thumbnails. They're crushing, dude, for real. I love how in this one he's got the opossum painting. He's painting with red. There is, it looks like no red on the opossum's palette. And also the red, which usually signifies down, like a decline. It's just matching the pace of the green one, just also going up. Also, it starts really low, so I can't imagine that it ends lower. Love generative AI. You typed in coolest image in the world, Fibonacci sequence sword, owl jumping over the moon, and flame lasers exploding out of it. I want to pay $100,000 to put that in my profile picture. If you're trying to make money from generative AI, like posting it online, trying to make money from it, being like, I'm an AI artist, I hope you know the only people who like you have the lowest amount of brain cells ever. Like people who have genuinely had their brains rotted. I'm an AI artist, but are you? And if you ever consume AI art and you're like, oh, I want to go watch an AI generated YouTube video. Oh my God, I can't wait to watch the next AI generated movie. You just gotta understand that you are the lowest common denominator of all of humanity. Like, unfortunately, that is just, it's just true. I'm sorry. If you're watching Wes Anderson style stop motion animation, Star Wars trailer 2025, there's nothing even I can say. It's just like, you actually don't understand how to experience like the true love and happiness and bright, you know, wonderful joy of art that comes from a place of humanity, you know? Anyways, such a side trail. Let's hear what that boy's voice sounds like. The guy who was saying that because he cleans and cooks, every woman online should never say that their husband doesn't do enough. I cook and clean. Why is this woman saying that her husband doesn't take out the trash? I cook and clean. Hey bro, go to the doctor. This is him though, this is his content.
Good morning.
Good morning?
Yo.
Yo, Ozzy King, what up? Ozzy King? Ozzy King? Mr. Ethereum? My wife wants me to take out the dishes. Ozzy King, I can't. Ozzy King, where are you? Ozzy King, why? Why does my wife want me to do the trash? Why does my wife want me to wipe down the countertops? Ozzy King, please.
That's trying to happen. Can you guys hear me okay now?
Yeah, incredible content. Ozzy King, I love your style. I love what you're putting forth into the world, and I think that you could be the one who changes the world. I hope he divorces her for making this video. That's just kind of a, you know, a bleak view of the world that I wanted to put into your life for a sec. Just a quick bleak view. Now, to be fair, this was very controversial, and as it was going online, a lot of the discourse started to be around how people were responding to this video. Like, this tweet got 260,000 likes, and it was Vanilla saying, it's incredibly insane how all women understand what she's talking about, but men seem to just not get it. The male brain is interesting. Listen, I think that it is kind of like an online thing to react like this, because I don't know any man, like in my personal life, who would watch that video and have that reaction. There's this type of man who is so chronically online. Like when we talk about chronically online, I feel like often you're thinking about people who are like, I don't know, like into stan culture, like that type of person. It's not generally people who are on that kind of like alpha male incel type thing, but that is a genuinely massive breed of chronically online people. And it sucks because so much of what you see, like so many of the takes that you see are things that are happening online on Elon Musk's Twitter, by the way, where your reply to a tweet literally won't be seen unless you're verified. So you have to pay Daddy Elon to be like, it's so stupid. But it has resulted in like really amplifying a certain subsection of men's voices. And by the way, I know that these men are in real life. I know. It doesn't take a dumbass to understand this. You have to be stupider than a dumbass to miss the point on this. And yet hundreds of thousands of dudes are. And it doesn't honestly make sense. Your brain has to be so rotted by the algorithm, and you have to have faced so much self-imposed rejection to get to a point where you're watching a woman just talking about very common relationship dynamic and communication and responding to it as if she is this piece of shit. Like, you truly have to get sucked into this world, and at a certain point, that is a skill issue. Like, if you're getting sucked down the alt-right pipeline into these alpha male things where you're looking at her and being like, God, she's such a gold-digging freak, I hate her. That is a skill issue. You're not a victim of the alt-right pipeline. You are a sucker. And these guys need to feel like suckers because it's not normal. The normal take is how everybody else feels. But online, because of just the way that like social media is like designed, it does feel like you see these men thinking that this is like a normal way of thinking. I don't know how to stop it. Like, honestly, they're just like weird freak suckers. Having a normal take on this is not difficult. It is so easy. You just have to listen to the words and then react like a human. And yet still millions of people hate her for that. And it's just like, the fact that you can be posted on Twitter saying some like regular ass stuff and then all of a sudden millions of dudes can be saying like horrible things about you that aren't even true, calling you ableist, calling you all these different things. It's like, that is not normal. That is very weird. I don't know, comment below how we can save our culture. comment below any ideas for saving the entire culture. But thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, please, please, please.
Hey, want a screw? I brought a screwdriver because I thought, okay, we're talking about a little bit like blue collar dudes. Like he's a line worker and stuff, and I thought, want a screw, pull out a screwdriver. It's like, I wouldn't necessarily call it like laugh out loud funny, but it's, I guess, a humorous thing to say. I give it probably a 3 out of 10. Like, it's not earth shattering, but, you know, it might make you go, ha. But like, that's about it. Like, nothing more than a ha, like H-E-H.